I didn't do a review of the last chapter, which mostly because it was just a chapter revealing this new character, Kurogane Kyoka, who is one of the other cross paladins, which I really like her design. For one, she has a really cool design. I like this, like I think it's like official. Let me find out the official colors again. I think it's like pink and red. It's like pink with like red flames. I think it might be blue or black flames. I can't remember exactly the color. I'm literally trying to pull up the over here to pull up the freaking panel as I was doing it, and I kept like clicking on the wrong things. But let me see. What was the newest chapter? 29. I was thinking 20. Okay, yeah, she's got like pink and I think blue or black as the flames, but I don't know. She looks really cool. I really like her tattoo. Like, for one, we don't know too much, I think, about I don't think we really know anything about the chest tattoo pieces, because, you know, Kiyoshi's got like the cross, Tsurugi's got like this big claymore looking guy. She has like this Kurogane has this like bell. It looks like the Taco Bell logo in the middle of a heart, but I'm guessing it's gonna be like, maybe like she, based off her tiger, she's got like a buff thing where she has like an animal and is able to strengthen it or something. But relatively, the only thing we got in the last chapter, she showed up, she kind of like did like a flex check on Kiyoshi, put herself a little bit on the sus list because she decided to like flirt with him, and he's only 16. I'm guessing she's probably like in her mid-20s. So I mean, like, somebody needs to like, I'd be like, listen, we're gonna take care of this black parade and this cult hole and stuff, but after this, we need to like put you on the bench for a few years. Like, you need to stay away from what we can't let you ruin everything and put yourself in, I don't know, Exorcist prison for a few years by making some strange mistakes. We don't need to check your DMs. But this chapter, rather, following up on it, because like I said, last chapter was mostly just introducing this character, cool character. Again, just got a little bit suspiciousness. We need to make sure so that she's checked before she does anything too much. But the chapter starts out in 29. Kiyoshi is going back to school. We know like he was hurt. He had to recover for a few days. He went and trained, and I think they said specifically he'd been gone for 2 weeks. I think that's what he says. Like, he had been missing for like, that's like 10 days or 2 weeks, something around that area. And he's in a great mood. He's happy because he comes back and people missed him. And he was like thinking that like nobody would. I'm surprised that even, you know, people even remembered me or were worrying about me. To be fair though, like, I feel like when you're in high school, is like the second somebody disappears for like, you know, a week or two, even if they're like a person who's not really known, it's such a like a talked about thing. I guess it's like a little different because I would assume that Naraku City has like, you know, it's, as far as I know, it's supposed to be Tokyo, but in this verse, so it's probably huge. I don't know about people who go to like mega schools. I went to a pretty small school, so it's like, I remember anytime that anybody was like, you know, a week plus absent, it was just like, oh shit, it was a topic. But it's like Kiyoshi also was, oh, hang on, what's the date? It's June. Yeah, it's June. No. It's about to be June. It's May, I think, at the start of the chapter, because they said next week is the Black Parade, which is June 6th. Oh, no, sorry, June 13th. So it is June. It's June 6th at the point. Okay, I was getting my dates mixed up. But Kiyoshi, I'm trying to think, I don't know when the Japanese school year starts, but at the same time, it's like, if he showed up any point irregularly, like, you know, a month or two, probably more, because it was, you know, May, he's just going to be more of a prominent character. Like, he's not exchange student, but just new student, and, you know, he's got this specific look, he's got red hair, he's going to be someone standout. But it's nice to know that like the other people were worrying about Kiyoshi. I think it's just because he's not used to it, he wouldn't have expected it, and it's just nice to see him have a solid reaction to that. We get back to kind of just our general event. We're getting a whole thing. It's going to be on June 6th at like, I think 2 a.m. So, you know, 6 and then 2. I don't know why it's 2 a.m. and not 6 a.m. I don't know. It is what it is. That we're doing Mark of the Beast here, but it's just kind of like they're getting it set up. They're getting everything kind of ready. They're talking about, okay, well, what's going to be the problem, and what are we going to do? First off, they're like we're going to have everyone just kind of shelter in place. They're talking about like a storm warning, and they were like telling people to stay inside. I feel like that's a very easy way to, I feel like this is like too easy for people to be like, nah, I'll go outside. Like, rain? Are people not going to look outside their windows? Like, I know that they said, like, they brought it up in the chapter that regular people can't see demons, but little kids and animals can. But it's at the same time, I feel like any of the explosions and stuff, like, people are going to see, like, the damage. And on top of that, I would assume that it's similar, like, say, like Bleach, where there are random characters that have the ability to see these guys, and they would just be like, what the hell's going on over there? But this chapter mostly was like, you know, getting Kiyoshi in good spirits, just kind of like getting him in just in a general place where he's solid again. I have to go back and double check the girl with the eye patch. I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. I'm trying to see if she's in the chapter, like her name's in the chapter rather. Or I don't know if Kiyoshi even calls her by her name. It's gonna bother me because somebody's gonna comment and tell me, but I'm gonna have to come back to it. Because this girl, I'm hoping that she I'm hoping that the only reason I'm literally not going and double checking her name right now is because if she shows up, if she ends up being more prominent as it goes on, this will be like a way for me to completely remember. Oh, there's her name. Never mind. He does call her name. I'll have to remember that. She literally has a 3-letter name, so hopefully it's pretty solid. I really liked the bit in the chapter where it was like showing the time because they're like waiting until 2 a.m. This would be horrible. I imagine like, hey, next week at 2 a.m. we're gonna have this mega war battle going on, and like every single day that week would just be stress. Because it'd be like, you know, this would be the thing that makes me wake up randomly. It's like June 1st and it's like 3:30. I'm like, is it time? Oh shit, in a few more. And then you just pass back out, but in like 2 hours you wake up again. But it was like showing the first bit. It's like, you know, it was like 11:42. It's near midnight, and you have a bunch of characters like, you know, randoms. And I'm like, you know, maybe we, you know, we're getting this order to go home. Well, you know, what do we do? And then we start having characters pour in. First, we get the Iron-Blooded Knights, the Sanguines, which is Kurogane's squad. We see her, Yoko, you know, a bunch of other characters we don't have names for yet. But her squad looks really cool. I was actually expecting more of an all-girl squad, but she has like these 2 dudes in there. Like she's got this like one dude that's like just really tall-looking guy with like a white beard smoking. Looks really badass. And then this other guy, this like bald dude with some scars. He looks okay. The bearded dude, I don't know what it is. I think it's just because his beard is white and his hair is black. He just has like an extra level of mystique cool to him. And he's got these cool sunglasses. And he is smoking, but we have a lot of smokers in the verse. I really want to see that girl, though, with the mask. Well, I guess there's 2 girls with the mask. One might not be a girl. The one in the front is definitely a girl. But like, definitely want to see her act. Since we got the squads, like the main squads introduced a long time ago, like way earlier in the story, like Sanguine was the one that I wanted to see the most. The Iron-Blooded Knights just sound the coolest. And it was like also on top of that, because at first it was like, I thought, okay, well, maybe they're an all-girl squad. No, because it's shown she's got other people, but it's led by this woman. So it's like, if we see her roll up and just like be extra like crazy and show some really badass powers, like guarantee this is like ironed in. This is the squad that I would want to be in, because she's over here already looking really clean. And then we get over, it's like, you know, it's just like an hour in a different spot. We see essentially like similar-ish interactions where it's like characters are like, hey, what are you guys doing? There's just like different people running into them as they're getting ready. This time we see Hitsugi and Tsurugi's squad, which is really cool. Everybody that's in his squad that we've already seen, you know, it's already been people that we've been introduced in the series. I wish we got one more person, like one more new person, but like, this is not a big deal because that's like 2 of these guys we haven't even seen do anything. Like this, I don't think this one dude that's like standing next to with a hat on. But there's one guy that just, every time I look at him, I think of Luck from Black Clover. I think that's Akari's brother. I have to go back and reread that chapter. I'm pretty sure that was Akari's brother. Yeah, right, because I'm like 99% certain, but like I feel like that was stated, but at the same time, it's going to annoy me if it wasn't, but I'm pretty sure it was. Unless I'm thinking of a different character. But like, he's just the dude with the 2 colored eyes. But every time I look at him, I think of Luck from Black Clover. I don't know what it is. And then this dude with the hat on, he just looks cool. He's got a cross. He's got like this cool eye makeup. I'm guessing a sword, but I'm kind of hoping it's like a rifle or a spear or maybe something like unconventional. Like, I don't know, something weird where it's like an iron rod with just like a metal ball on it and it does some weird I'm just thinking of like weird things that would be in there that would just be like katana. I would love it to be something just that you wouldn't expect. Like he pulls out, I don't know, it's like a marching staff and maybe he's a summoner or something badass. And then lastly, like you get over and it's the final group we see is obviously the main squad, Gates of Hell, which it's not the restaurant name, so it just comes up as Gates, which is really cool because it's like they're the last bastion. They're like the idea of what's going to keep the demons from coming in. And then bam, 2 o'clock rolls around and the giant colt hole pours overhead and it's going to get, you know, getting started up. They're just getting prepped and they're ready to fight. I'm so stoked to see this start up. One thing about the series that I'm very intrigued on, though, is once we get going, what some of the fights are going to be generally like, because we know a general sense of the power levels in the verse. We haven't had, like, extensive, like, we haven't had extensive fights to say like, okay, X, Y, and Z, or this area, this X, 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 Y, Z. It's like we have a general area. We know that Kiyoshi should be able to body any of the, I would assume, any of the lower or higher level demons, because they mentioned, I think it's just high and top level demons. Let me find the exact statement that he says, because this is important. Yeah, he says high and top level demons, but we don't know the entire hierarchy level set, but we know that above, we know that there's Demon Lord and there's Great Demon Lord that's at the top. I would assume one day we'll get like one rank above a Great Demon Lord, but I would assume that top level demon is probably one lower than Demon Lord. And the weakest Demon Lord was Sada. We don't know the peak of like where Demon Lords sit before you get to Great Demon Lord, but I would assume that unless you get to the top of the Demon Lord ranks, Kiyoshi is probably not going to have any real issues, or any of the cross paladins. That's probably going to be like where some of the smaller characters come in, and like people like Hitsugi it should be in that area where, like, if you put him against Sada or against Mato, I'd say like those are the areas where like right now I'd say he should be able to beat at least Sada. But it's like that should be what we're seeing from him the next time we get more of a fight from his side, because he's like in that area we don't know 100%, but it's the characters besides Cross Paladin, obviously Hitsugi, that I really want to see some of the areas of. Like top and high level demons, I would love to see like one of these other guys get like a chapter fight with a top level demon or something, just to kind of put the placement of the verse. Because just for example, I mentioned Black Clover earlier. It's just an easy one. It's also got demons with, it's got a demon set up with a ranking system of their own, so it's easy to use. One thing about Black Clover I really didn't like was that it introduced like the demon hierarchy set. You had like was it the high level demons, and then you had Supreme, but then it's like everything, you had Zagrid come out, and then like shortly after you had brought in Supreme, and it's like, okay, so anybody Zagrid level and below is gonna get completely just power gapped. But on top of that, it's like the problem is then you never show anything with the stuff really of that level lower. So like characters who are not, it's like when you have a rank, so it's like you have Supreme Devil and you have Demon Lord level, like with Kiyoshi. But if you have these other ranks, but they never really get shown too much, it's like they just feel almost like empty space. And then the characters that should be fighting him, the characters that aren't, hey, I'm one of the big main people, in Kiyoshi's case, Cross Paladin, I'm able to 1v1 a Demon Lord just fine. But like some of these other characters, like if Akari gets a fight with just like a high level demon, maybe her and Jack Joe and Nihon, and you give them a fight where it's like these, you have Akari, I feel like she's one of those characters with like a sleeping power that we don't know about. Nihon and Jack Joe, it shouldn't take much more than 5 seconds of really knowing about the series to know that they have high potential, just based off of what we know about like how the demon familiars and these guys work. And then it's like, we know about like they have amazing synchronization, synergy, they've known each other like their whole lives, and Jack Joe is a Demon Lord level person. It's just he doesn't have full control and memory over his powers, so he is just he's like the idea of like Akari could have some sleeping power. We know Jack Joe has this power, and we know Nihon's been training, so it's like that's going to be one that we see. So any of these other characters, I would love to get like, oh yeah, here's a high level demon, here's a top level demon, Kiyoshi and them don't fight them. I would love to see Kiyoshi literally just, he's over there and all the other big shots are one-shotting some of these big crazy demons, but it's the ones that they aren't able to get that the other characters can be going against. Like if Kiyoshi and all them are like, they're literally just one tapping all these demons, but they're pouring out, but it's like one of them, every single one that gets past them, that's when they have to be like, okay, ignore that, leave that to the other people. Everybody else is going to be doing that. The big people, I think, should be directly on any of the Demon Lords coming out and mass extermination of the demons, like the ones that they should be able to fight. Because like if Kiyoshi, obviously Sada, it's like, as far as we know, he is by far the weakest Demon Lord. I doubt we're going to see another Demon Lord that's weaker than him, just guessing. But he should still be above any of the high or top level demons, one would assume. So Kiyoshi should be able to, Kiyoshi and, Sakaki, Tsurugi, Kurogane, they should be able to completely run over any of these demons, no problem. These are fodder to them. Whereas any of them that get Pi, that's perfect for some of these other guys. Because, like, if you have, like, say, like a high level demon, And Hitsugi just, yeah, one shot, taps it, beats it out. It's like, okay, we know now where he's at. But then if you say, again, Jack, Joe, and Nihon, they're like, okay, well, they fought a high-level demon, and they were able to defeat it, but it took everything they had. So it's like, okay, well, we now know where they are, the gap between them and Hitsugi, and then the general area between characters like Hitsugi over to Kiyoshi, and all the other kind of characters in adjacent. Stuff like that is important because it builds the full ladder of understanding of, like, where characters are and of, like, the enemies. Because again, it's not like the idea. It's like, oh, well, they need the full help because it's going to be X amount of problem. It's important for characters to be able to do stuff that provide value. Because again, it's like, if take for example the very beginning of the series when Kiyoshi and Akari had their first bit, and Kiyoshi showed up, he one-shot the demon that Akari was fighting, and it wasn't a fight of like Kiyoshi's as a problem. It was Kiyoshi wasn't able to get to this situation in time because of other stuff that was going on, and Akari was able to get to, like, pretty much extend the time of that scenario out to where that little girl wasn't killed, and because of that, Kiyoshi was able to save her. So as though Kiyoshi has the ability to handle like one of these types of enemies within one shot. Sometimes when there's just so much going on, he is unable to, and that's when these other characters need to be able to do something, rather than just be like the main character or any of the big characters that we already know are capable shows up and does everything, and then the lower characters are just kind of there for like emotional support, which is something that I'm really hoping that we don't have, because I don't think we need to have, again, a chapter for every single character. I would love to have one of those chapters where it's like, this chapter, members of Sanguine are going to show off. This chapter, members of Concordia are going to show off. But after that point, it's like, okay, now we're going to focus the people specifically that you want to see, like, anybody, the Gates of Hell characters, Hitsugi, probably like maybe Yoko or something, or at least Kurogane, like any of those characters, we're gonna get a full one chapter fight at least and see like what they're capable of. But at the same time, we need to see also what's going on with we need to be able to see what's going on with everything kind of on the battlefield, so it feels more like more like a chaotic battlefield, and to where like the other characters are there and have a reason to be there, and it's not just the cross paladin people who are doing all the work, because that'll be a really good identifier for the series if we have some good focus on some of the other characters. It would be really weird to me not to have, like, for example, not to have a Nihon and Jack Joe fight after the last arc, I guess, a little training arc where it's like literally they want to fight and contribute, and everybody's going to be active, I assume, in this scenario and with the Black Parade. So it would be really surprising if he just like got out of this with no fight. I was hoping in the last bit, like, Azudaroth would maybe bring out some more enemies for other characters to fight, but it's like this is a scenario literally where it's like there's going to be enemies everywhere, so we got to have it. But anyway, other than that, comment below, tell me your thoughts about this chapter and what you think about this series so far, and what you think is going to happen next. But other than that, talk to you guys later.